All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible magic that makes our digital world tick, API integration. We're breaking down how all your favorite apps and services actually talk to each other. And we're using a really cool framework inspired by the work of Claudia Reid. So, let's get into it.
So let's start with the feeling I'm pretty sure we've all had. You know, you're using a couple of different apps, say your calendar and your to-do list, and you just think, why can't these just work together? It's that frustration, right? When things just don't sync up.
Exactly. That whole process of manually copying and pasting information from one window to another, exporting a file here just to import it over there, it is a total digital headache. Well, that disconnect, that's the very problem we're talking about today. And trust me, there is a much, much better way. It's happening all around us, usually completely out of sight.
And the solution to all this digital chaos? Well, it all comes down to a little thing called an API. These are the real unsung heroes of the internet, the invisible connections that make everything feel so smooth and seamless. Well, when it works, that is. Okay, so what is an API? The textbook definition is application programming interface. But, what does that actually mean? Just think of it like a contract, a clear set of rules that lets one program ask another program for information or to do something without having to know all the messy details of how that other program is built.
Probably the best way to think about it is the classic waiter analogy. Imagine you're at a restaurant. You don't just walk into the kitchen and start cooking, right? No way. You look at the menu, the available options, and you give your specific order to the waiter. That waiter is the API. They take your request to the kitchen does its thing, and then the waiter brings you back exactly what you asked for. You never needed to know the recipe, you just got your food. It's the perfect messenger. And this isn't some rare technical thing. It's happening constantly. Every time a travel website shows you flights from 10 different airlines, or when Google Maps just magically appears inside your ride-sharing app, yep, that's APIs working behind the scenes. They really are the invisible glue holding this whole digital world together. Now, that all sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? An API is just a waiter taking an order. So if that's the case, why is getting different systems to actually work together so incredibly difficult sometimes? Well, having one waiter for one table is one thing. But what happens when you're trying to manage a whole orchestra? See, connecting one app to another, that's like a duet. It's manageable. But what modern companies need, that's a full-blown symphony. You've got dozens of different systems, all with their own rules, their own languages, and you need to get them all to play together in perfect harmony. It is a massive, complex challenge. And that's exactly what API integration project management is all about solving. And this brings us to the core idea from Claudia Reid's work, and it's brilliant. Mastering this challenge isn't just about the code. It's about balancing two completely different sides of the brain. On one side, you have the science, all the logic, the tools, the processes. And on the other, you have the art, the empathy, the communication, the creative problem solving. True mastery is knowing how to blend the two. So let's start with the science. This is the foundation. This is the blueprint for any integration project that actually wants to succeed. It's the structured, logical part of the whole equation.
The science is really all about having a predictable, solid plan. Pretty much every project follows this kind of life cycle, right? From figuring out what you need to do in the first place, all the way to keeping it running smoothly years later. This structure is absolutely crucial, because without it, you just have chaos. It's what makes sure the thing you build is the thing that was actually needed.
And to follow that blueprint, you need the right toolkit. These are the non-negotiables, the technical foundations of any serious project. I mean, think about robust testing. If you skip that, you're basically asking your first customers to find all the bugs for you, and that is never a good look. Each one of these is a pillar that holds the entire project up. Okay, but having the perfect plan and the best tools in the world, it's not enough. Not even close. Now we have to talk about the art of mastery. This is all about conducting the orchestra. It's about the people who are building and using the technology. So if the science is the blueprint, the art is all about the people. And honestly, this is where projects really live or die. Take clear communication.
That doesn't just mean you're good at email. It means you can explain a really complex technical problem to your CEO in a way that makes business sense. And then you can turn around and translate that business vision back into crystal clear instructions for a developer. It's the art of being a multilingual interpreter.
And this quote from Reid's work just hits the nail on the head. You can have the most beautiful, elegant code imaginable, but if you don't have clear communication and trust between the teams, that project is going to struggle. The human element, it's not a soft skill here. In integration, it is a hard requirement for success.
So, let's bring this all home. The science, that gives you the what to build and the how to build it. It's the structure. But the art, that gives you the context. It's the why we're even doing this and the who it's all for. Real mastery, the kind that leads to those amazing, seamless experiences we love, it's not about picking one over the other. It's about knowing exactly how to weave them together. And that leaves us with one final big question to chew on. As our world gets more and more connected, more reliant on these invisible links, which skill is ultimately going to matter more? The technical skill to write the code that connects us, or the human skill to connect the people who write the code? Something to think about.